So I'm guessing your hesitancy to go to the Big Ten is mostly tied to tradition and rivalries. Obviously, Oregon's got no connection basically to the Big Ten and a long, rich tradition there in the Pac-12. Anything besides that?
No, because I feel like as a program, whatever conference Oregon is in, the equation for succeeding at a high level and winning at a high level the way they have remains the same. It'll get slightly tougher in the Big Ten, but you'll also have more big games to boost your schedule in a given season. So you might not need to have a big time non-conference opponent in order to have a quality strength of schedule when you're talking about a 14 college football playoff, which maybe that could expand, but for the time being, it is not. So, everything you're talking about there that you mentioned is correct. I mean, as an Oregon Duck and a Pac-12 fan, I would have preferred USC and UCLA never left. Now I'm fascinated by this entire discussion because it just never seems to end, and there's so many different avenues to explore and talk about and whatnot. But if I had my way on things, the Pac-12 would have just remained as the Pac-12 because I like the matchups with all the different schools, and I consume it as a fan regionally first and then nationally. And every year I consume college football as a national product because Oregon has been on that stage for most of my life, and my dad has done well to remind me, he went to Oregon, that it wasn't always like that. It used to be an exclusively regional concept for Duck fans to support Oregon football, but they've pushed themselves onto the national stage, and I enjoy rooting for them and understanding how everything will play out in that sense. But I like playing the Pac-12 opponents because I've always known them, and I'm somebody who, generally speaking, is not a huge fan of change. That's just kind of a that's a common theme in our family. Like, we like things to stay the same whenever they can. And yeah, there's some matchups I'd be sad to lose more than others, but I didn't have a problem with the way it was before, and Oregon was able to compete for conference championships and college football playoff spots and go to the Rose Bowl as well. And I love playing in the Rose Bowl too. So I just didn't I didn't need it. Like, I see the positives and I see the allure of it, but as a fan, I look at it and go, I don't need it, And I mean, the thought of one day having a conference schedule or any schedule that doesn't include a game against Oregon State, like, that sucks because I have so many friends from back home that are Beaver fans, and we, talk smack to one another, and you get bragging rights for a whole year when you win that game. I would never want that to go away, and maybe they'd be able to keep it in place and play in the non-conference schedule or an 8-game conference slate, and they play in there somewhere. I don't know, but I would just hate to see that go away, and that's definitely a real possibility.